We are working with geometry today, and specifically, we are going to look at angle relationships. And if we understand these angle relationships, we do not need to use a protractor in order to measure unknown angles. So the first relationship we're going to look at is something called complementary angles. Now, complementary angles are just two angles that when you add them together, they always equal 90 degrees. Now, the angles do not have to be side by side. They do not have to be touching. As long as you take just two angles, and it can only be two angles, if their sum is 90 degrees, then those two angles have to be complementary angles. So here's an example. I have a 25-degree angle and a 65-degree angle, and when I add those together, they equal 90 degrees. Now, the second angle relationship that we're looking at is something called supplementary angles. Now, supplementary angles, it's very similar to complementary angles. Again, it's two angles. When you add them together, if their sum is 180 degrees or a straight line, then those are supplementary angles. So a 40-degree angle and a 140-degree angle equal 180 degrees, therefore they're supplementary. And again, they don't have to be side by side. It's as long as it's just two angles. When they add together, they equal 180 degrees. Now, a lot of times you're going to be asked to find the complement of an angle or the supplement of an angle. And they're going to give you the angle, like 66 degrees. So in order to find its complement, you just take 90 degrees, subtract the 66 degrees, so the complement would be 24 degrees. Same thing for the supplement. If you want to find the supplement of 66 degrees, take 180 degrees, subtract the 66 degrees, you get 114 degrees. That's the supplement. Now notice we didn't have to use a protractor in order to find those degree angles. So the next angle relationship is called adjacent angles. Now those angles always are side by side. They share a common vertex and a common ray. If those are side-by-side angles, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be identical angles. They could be our complementary angles, which are adjacent here, or our supplementary angles, which are adjacent. So next, let's work with something called vertical angles. Now, vertical angles always are made by two crossing lines, and it gives you four angles. And the relationship with vertical angles, it's always opposite angles have to equal the same measure. So if they told me angle A was 30, then angle C, which is directly opposite, also has to be 30 degrees. Now, I can see that these are two angles that are adjacent, and I can see they make a straight line, so they have to be supplementary angles. So I know if this is 30 degrees, then that has to be 150 degrees to make 180 degrees. And I know if B is 150 degrees, then the angle directly opposite, which is its vertical angle, also has to be 150 degrees. So what I love about this is I only need to know one angle, and with that one angle I can find all the other angles without using my protractor. Now, triangles are made up of three angles, and anytime we have a triangle, those three angles always must equal 180 degrees, no matter what. That's by definition what a triangle is. So let's apply everything we learned into this problem. Say I was given this problem and I need to find all the angles. Well, they told me that angle 1 was 83 degrees, and they told me that this angle here was 34 degrees. And with those two angles, that's all I need to know. So to begin with, I'm going to start, I see a straight line from B to E. So I know that has to be 180 degrees. And I know I have two out of those three angles given. Now, because I'm looking at three angles, it's not supplementary angles that I'm working with, because those can only be two. But I can take that concept of 180 degrees, I could subtract my 83 degrees given, that's 97 degrees, and I could subtract my 34 degrees given, and that's 63 degrees. So I know that this angle right here has to be 63 degrees. Now, if that is 63 degrees, its vertical angle right here has to be 63 degrees. And if this is 34 degrees, its vertical angle here has to be 34 degrees. And if this is 83 degrees, its vertical angle there has to be 83 degrees. And I can see that this makes a full circle. So when I add up all those degree measurements just to check if I'm okay, That is a full circle, which is 360 degrees. So the beauty of these angle relationships is we don't need to use a protractor to measure. All we need to do is know the relationship and we can find all the other angles. So it's up to you. Good luck. I know you'll do well.